Hey everybody, welcome to another Tuesday review show. We are very lucky to get the new comics in on Tuesday, and we're going to talk to you about them. My name is Megan. This is Andy and Jason. We're from Infinity Flux. We're a comic shop in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We've been open a little over 5 years now. So if you're joining us for the first time, let us know where you're from, what you're excited about this week, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Just give us a comment and let us know how you're doing this week because we're about to go over all this exciting stuff.
Yeah, and front and center, of course, is Dark Knight's death metal. So we had to take a break. Each of us read some comics, and now we're gonna just preview them for you. No spoiler previews.
Yeah,
Spoiler-free review show.
I will try not to spoil anything, but I did read Dark Knight's Death Metal #1 twice. I read it once last night, and I thought maybe I'm too tired for this, but I did read it all, and then I read it again this morning, and oh boy, it is a meaty book with a lot of stuff going on.
Is it longer than a regular comic?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't feel like it's exercise.
24-ish pages.
Yeah.
I see Ignacio's. He's from right down the road, but he definitely picked up his comics on. He was here at noon to pick up his DC comics, so that's
I know
something...
he beat me here. I got here 10 minutes late, and he was already here.
Yeah, that's something we should definitely say is that all the DC comics are released today. So if you are excited about metal after Andy tells you all about it, spoiler free, then you can come pick it up. So.
Yeah, so about death metal, I feel like you do not have to have read the previous metal series.
Okay.
I feel like the metal thing is definitely more in tone and definitely aesthetic, as you can see on the covers and everything. Everyone's looking extra metal. But if there is anything that you needed to know from the previous metal, I feel like it tells you in it.
Does it take place in the current continuity, or is it sort of its own continuity?
Without spoiling anything,
Okay.
It does. They make it very clear that this is, I guess, in continuity in the DC universe that we know, and more the fact to tell you this is important. This, we're not going to write it off later and say like, oh, this was Earth 92/metal. No, this is in the DCU, and that I feel like makes it even more important to some of the things that happen in it.
Okay.
And it's not a spoiler if you were reading Scott Snyder's Justice League. The way that ended is a little bit of a cliffhanger. Scott Snyder's Justice League ended with a moment where the League did something. And then Robert Venditti took over Justice League with the next issue and did not make reference to that at all. This shows you what immediately happened after the last, basically, panel of Scott Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
So
cool.
Very much, if you've been following the Snyder, different Snyderverse, not the filmmaker, but the Scott Snyderverse, this is definitely, it feels like the crescendo of everything, even going all the way back to his Batman run, all of that. And I feel like it's really good if you're a fan of the DC universe. There's a lot of that in it. A lot of references to things that you remember.
I mean, that's definitely the first metal. The first metal just drew from DC all over.
And the stuff is not a spoiler because Scott Snyder's talked about it before this came out, where he said, I want this to... When you read it, I'm going to explain that everything you've read matters. Yeah, and going all the way back to Crisis on Infinite Earths, through, New 52, Rebirth, all of that. He basically says, this all matters, and here's why. And the other cool thing I thought was, I was reading this yesterday, that the way that the first metal, brought in Hawkman as a very integral character.
Yeah.
He took a lot of characters that hadn't really gotten the spotlight in a long time, he's doing the same thing here. There's a few characters that he's picked out and said, these are going to be important. And I feel like they're characters that we're going to either get, miniseries or ongoing series after this. And once you read this, it's easy to tell who's it going to be. But yeah, I thought that was cool because a few of them are ones I really like.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with like the main villain because in the first Metal, that's where they introduced the Batman Who Laughs, and even though he might not have been the main villain, he was kind of the one everyone focused on.
Right. Yeah, he even got the spin-off series from that and everything, and yeah, he's definitely present in this.
Yeah, Andy told me a little. He spoiled it for me, which I wanted him to. But yeah, you are definitely.
You didn't ask me to. I just did. I needed to get it off my chest.
Yeah, there's some stuff you're gonna want to get off your chest after you read this. So if you guys are just now joining us, we were talking about Death Metal #1, Dark Knight's Death Metal, that just came out today. You can actually come pick up your copy today. You can even come get all the awesome variant covers that came out.
That's right. Lots of nice variants.
So we'll show
we
you
got
that.
the David Finch cover. We've got the Matina cover, which you do find out why Superman looks like that.
Awesome.
Wonder Woman with a chainsaw. That's the Art Germ variant. You learn about the chainsaw. This was the midnight release variant, which, well, it couldn't really have a midnight release, but we got the variant for it.
Normally, we would definitely be having a midnight release party. There'd probably be 50 people here. We'd do trivia.
We would have played some metal music.
Yeah, I almost thought about putting on black lipstick today.
You should.
Maybe tomorrow.
And then, of course, we have a black sketch variant to get your favorite artist to draw on it with like a white pen. So that is super, super cool.
Yeah, so Michael is actually asking, wait, we can come in today for new books? You can come in today for new DC books.
Right.
DC books are released on Tuesdays now. Yep. I know some shops are going to opt in or opt out of doing that, but we have the option to do that now. And so we are. So they're on the shelf, they're in your box, or if you want to start a box, or just come get it off the shelf. That's our cuckoo clock.
we couldn't wait to read the new DC stuff, and so we're not going to hold back.
Yeah, we're not going to make you wait.
Yeah. So yes, DC books are on sale today, and if you see any of the other titles that don't release today, you can hold that aside in your box. We'll hang on to that until they're released tomorrow.
Let's see. What's up next?
Who's going next?
I guess I'll go next. So from Image and IDW, I sat down today and I read A Man Among Ye, which I had done sort of a preview
I guess
before.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, when we offered this up. So this is written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Craig Cermak. I'm not real familiar with the previous works. I enjoyed it though. So Craig Cermak, he did this cover. So if you think this cover looks good, the interior art looks just like this, very clear. Starts off with a lot of action. This comic is based on a historical figure. It's about two female pirates. The one on the cover, her name was Anne Bonny. And there's some record of her living. There's a lot of dispute over exactly what she did, but she was a pirate and eventually caught. And so this is not a historical retelling of that, though. You can tell that this is just based on that. They've made this character larger than life. So I thought it was a good read. I think anybody who is looking for a good action series about pirates should definitely consider picking it up.
And one that's not your traditional hero.
It's correct.
It's been a while since we've had a pirate book.
Yeah, and of course it's fish out of water too because she's a female pirate on a ship where she's the only girl. Of course, there's going to be another one that shows up. That's sort of the premise, but I won't spoil how that happens or if that happens in this first one. So
cool.
That sounds good.
All right. Well, I next got the pleasure to read Wind #1, which is by James Tynan. That's how you pronounce his last name, right?
Close enough. We know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. And sorry, I had it all pulled up. It has amazing artwork by Michael Dillanis. And really, this is like super well plotted. So like I had to go back a few times and just look at how the layout is. Really helps tell the story. So the story is about a magical land where being magic is sort of punishable by death. So everyone's trying to hide their if you have any powers or abilities, you definitely keep that a secret in this world, which is definitely goes against, I think, a lot of normal fantasy premises. So, yeah, magic exists in this world, and it's kind of reminded me of just medieval sort of like bazaar, or like you look out and you see just the at a bazaar where the ceilings are made of cloth, and there's festivals going on. There's like arenas for fighting and things like that. I think we get a taste of this world building in here, but it really focuses on our main character, Wind, who has magical abilities, that he is trying to hide. He works in a restaurant, so it's still very grounded. I think I got a little bit of a Bob's Burgers feel for a second because he doesn't work in
expecting.
I know, work in a restaurant. And so, like I said, the characters it's very rooted in these characters. And I think this is going to be a big hit. It definitely was oversized issue. And it once again does the comics medium really well because there are several pages of just world building. The text doesn't overwhelm. You feel by the end of it that you really got to know each of the characters. So I'm definitely excited for number 2.
Do we know, is that a mini series or a maxi series or just ongoing?
I don't know. I think it is.
I think it was like at least announced in a way that didn't say it was mini or maxi.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys didn't know, this is the writer of the Batman series.
Yep.
So if you like that, which it's been a huge hit, not just because of new characters being introduced, but because he is a fantastic writer.
And Something's Killing the Children.
Yep.
Which is also big by the same publisher.
Hits, yeah. So this is from Boom. So we got plenty of these on the shelf.
You said it was double sized. Mm-hmm. Is the price reflective of that, or is it still just?
It is $4.99.
Okay, cool. They kept it at a good price.
And yeah, it's just sort of a nice wraparound cover. We do have a variant of this one. It's the Whimper Store variant. That's available on the shelves. So yeah, that's our main character. I am going to not spoil something. I'm going to show you something. If I can find it. It's extremely cute.
Oh yeah, this is what I was about to say. It seems like this has a really good sense of humor.
Don't you want to read about that little baby flower thing?
It's like a little
adorable.
Pokemon.
It is very much. If you told me that was a new Pokemon, I would completely believe you.
So yeah, like I said, it does a great job world building. So
but if you turn the page,
you're in for a surprise.
If that's the setup, there's a punchline on the next page.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I know. After you finished reading it, I asked you. I was like, joking. I was like, "Is that going to be the next saga?" And you were like, "Well, it might be." And like, you really liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Duke is already asking for a copy of that in his box. So yes, I'll put that aside for you. So just to reiterate again, if you guys are watching this even after it shows, you can come get comics off the shelf, or you can ask us to set aside for you if you do have a pull box with us. And if you don't, it's easy to set one up.
Yep, and if you're not local, we ship all around the United States.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we still have plenty of Dark Knight's death metal left.
Yeah, better. It's only Tuesday.
People
aren't even used to this.
Well, I mean, we ordered plenty because we knew this one was gonna rock.
Woo!
That's what I just said that.
I have one other I want to show off just quickly.
Surprise.
So, Strange Adventures #2 is out as of today, and that is by Tom King and Mitch. Gerards. Yeah. So the team from Mr. Miracle has very much a similar feeling. So if you've read the #1 and you enjoyed that, #2 is out. It had been so long since the #1 was out, I actually skimmed back through it just to familiarize myself again. But yeah, so I also took a break and read #2. It's good. It's Tom King's sort of heady take on superheroism. If you just want people punching each other in the face, you won't get that. But if you want something where you read it and you feel like, I kind of want to read this a second time to catch all this stuff, it's definitely.
I feel like all of his heroes have a certain unshaven quality. They have they wake up in bed, they kind of scratch their face. There may be like a giant monster in the background, but they're just like, oh, I'm going to go make breakfast or whatever.
And Strange Adventures so far has been about, is he a hero? It's all about him getting investigated for things that people thought were heroic, but now they're not so sure. And Tom King likes to bring in characters that are a little obscure, sort of like Scott Snyder with Death Metal.
Kite Man is super well known. What are you talking about?
Kite Man is awesome, and he brought him to
Well,
light.
in this, without revealing much, Mr. Terrific is sort of the character. The second Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt. And I didn't really know much about him, but he's actually really interesting. Like, as much as I'm interested in the main story, I'm sort of even more interested in his character.
And
So
the other artists on that, Doc Shaner, they're kind of playing back and forth where there's some more happier scenes that they go back and forth between the two artists, and the artists really reflect that their individual styles, the kind of brighter, and then Gerard's kind of melancholy.
It really helps though, because there really is one story going on, but told in three different parts, in three different. Like, one's in a different time, one follows a different character, but they're all linked and they're all being told at once.
Yeah. So yeah, these are just a few of the comics that came out today. We have a couple more titles that are on the shelves, and a few new trades that came out today.
Technically, only 2 of these came out today. Only the DC we can sell today.
Yeah, you're right. We got them in the store today, but you can come buy the DC or stick the other ones in your box for tomorrow. So yeah, we are open 12 to 7 if you guys are local and want to come chat with us about the shocking introduction of
There we go.
Death Metal.
Nailed it. Yeah, I will spoil this if you ask me to. I did it for Megan and she didn't even ask. I will wait till you ask.
We should definitely end the live video before Andy starts spoiling death metal.
Can you cut it off right when I'm about to reveal something and just time it so it blacks out?
Yeah.
But it'll be cool when we get issue number 2, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about issue 1, because I feel like we don't know a lot about the spin-off books. There's not going to be too many of them, but it hints in here that maybe this is not necessarily the story you thought you were getting. There may be like, what's the crux of the story? We get like the aesthetic of the metal and the Batman Who Laughs and all that, but it seems like they're gonna do something kind of fun. That may be kind of in the middle, the kind of the meat of the story.
Well, considering how popular Dark Knight's Metal was, the first series, I'm sure DC has just told them free reign, just do your thing.
And you can feel that too. There's just like some things you're like, oh, this is really goofy, but it's also really cool. So.
Well, cool. Well, thank you all for joining us as we preview some comics. We had a chance to just kick back and take a break and read books early, and so we enjoy sharing that knowledge with you.
Yeah, and several of you have commented already that you want certain covers or want certain issues, so thank you. We'll get that in your box right away. You can come see us anytime this week for the DC stuff and other comics. So yeah, just hit us up afterward if you need something.
Tune in for our next show, Comics from the Future.
On Friday.
Friday at 1 p.m., where we go over comics that you can still order. Ones that are still ordered.
And we're now getting into books that we talked about on that.
Yeah, we actually talked about all these on one of our shows. So yeah, it's coming full circle now, finally.
And then, of course, every Sunday at 1, we do our comic shop showcase, where we sell comics from
big sales
Golden Era all the way to modern.
I just sold a Strange Adventures lot the other day from Silver Age stuff. So, all right, cool.
Well, that's the show.
Yeah. You guys
Signing
have
off.
Great week. Hope to see you soon.